What happens when you ask a recruiting company whether or not they've got you on a blacklist and their advice is to dumb down your CV? Let me show you what happened. So for this to make sense, we actually have to flash back a little bit to sometime last year, where after seeing a couple of my videos, I had a recruiter reach out to me to give me some ideas on how to polish my CV and different ways to present myself to make me more marketable within the marketplace at the moment for people trying to hunt down jobs. And I really appreciated that help. It was really insightful to be able to see this and hear this and to get feedback on things that I could change, and I've implemented quite a few of them. One of the things that they mentioned though was that if you apply for multiple roles that you don't get through a recruiting agency, sometimes you can end up on a blacklist. Essentially, every time you apply, a red flag goes up saying, nah, don't hire this person because they've never been right for anything that we've put forward in the past. And that certainly makes you feel like you're at a disadvantage when you're out there trying to find work. She mentioned a particular company by name, and just through sheer coincidence, a couple of days later, I ended up getting another rejection letter from this particular company. So, me being me, I emailed back and I asked, am I on some sort of blacklist with you guys? And it didn't take long to get a response from them.
Hey, just very quickly, I'm not sure why someone has said that that's what happens, because that is certainly not the case. So,
Okay.
Someone's obviously bad-mouthing us, which is okay, but,
Well, it was a consultant I was talking to about updating my CV. Like, there was no fighting for jobs or anything like that, which is why I thought it was quite strange that she mentioned a company by name.
Well, that's what I mean. If you mention the company, that's, not ideal.
Yeah.
Because it's actually not what happens here. So, we have to automate things, which is what you've got from me when I've looked at your CV. Look, the reality is our system doesn't reject you. It's consultants looking at your CV and deciding based on what the client is looking for whether you're right.
So I may not have been on a blacklist before. I can't guarantee that after that phone call. But there was a lot of really interesting advice that came through in this call as well, around making sure that you're the right person for the role, about tailoring your CV for each role. And trust me, when you have applied for over 200 jobs, the idea of sitting down and tailoring your CV for every single one of them is the kind of thing that's really soul destroying. It's like knowing you have to deal with wins on a weekly basis. It eats at your heart in a way that nothing else can. But she did have some great advice on what to do in regards to making sure that you're at least considered for the right sort of roles and that you're considering the right sort of roles.
First of all, I would say, if you're not sure about the role and whether it's a fit for you, we always put who is working on the role, pick up the phone and have a chat first.
Okay.
That is always going to be better than just sending an email, because if I look at your CV that you're sending through, it's pretty, there's not much tailoring going on with each role, and if you've applied for that many roles, I get why that is.
Oh, yeah.
But in the same token, if you're applying, if I look at your file here, so to speak, it looks like you've applied for a number of roles and, they're all quite different, so therefore people aren't seeing the difference that you're adding, each time that's relevant to that role, if that makes sense.
Yes, yep, absolutely. And that does make sense. If I'm applying for a job with a generic CV and there's specific things they're after, totally get that a generic CV is not going to cover everything. And I have a really strict personal rule about CVs not being any more than 3 pages long. 2 is the preference. And you can't get a ton of information into 2 CVs unless you are a pretty okay writer who's written for blogs and, stuff, literally stuff, the website, content creation, website design. If you know how to use words well, then you could actually, I think, convey quite a bit of information across a relatively generic CV. That's just my opinion. I'm not in recruiting anymore. I did used to work for a recruiting company, which is why I was kind of thrown by the next comment.
Yeah, so there's 2 things. If I was to say I'm looking at your CV, it's just all words, and this is no disrespect to you, but I think if you can actually put down your key responsibilities and bullet points, it's a lot easier to read, particularly when you are, applying for roles against, what people are looking for. So if I was, say, looking for high-end retail or PR and comms as part of it, team leadership, whatever it needed to be, I really have to look for that in yours. Whereas if it was in bullet points, you know, those words would pop out a lot easier for me to see, yes, he's got the relevant experience for me to pick up.
Okay, so short, sharp, things that jump out relatively easy. I can do that. And I've redone my CV now to match that. There was one other comment that kind of threw me, and it's because I've dealt with a lot of recruiters over the last couple of months, because the sort of jobs I'm going for go through recruiting agencies. Generally, you don't find a lot of them that are just sort of private people doing searches or looking for particular roles. I know the feedback that I've been getting, and I know international trends around how difficult it's been to find staff. New Zealand currently has record unemployment lows, which means the amount of people out there looking for work is really small, which means recruiters aren't that busy. They might still have a fairly decent workload, and they might be dealing with a lot of clients who they're trying to find people for, but it doesn't mean that they're getting the number of applications that they used to. So this comment did kind of throw me.
Well, that's the thing, and I'm sorry that you are having trouble. I mean, the reality is the market is really tough at the moment, and, you know, I can give you all the words you like, but I just don't. I'm sorry that you're going through that, but the reality is the market is what it is, and we sort of all, you know.
Now, if you've managed to make it this far through, because this is one of the longer videos I've done in a while, congratulations. I want to point out I ain't mad. Like, I totally get where they're coming from, and I really do appreciate the feedback to try and help me improve what I'm doing, and I've gone through and followed most of that feedback. Still not a fan of bullet points in CVs, and if I was hiring somebody, it would annoy me, but I have simplified the information that I've put in there, and I've rearranged the layout of the CV from something I have been doing for many, many years into a little bit more to what the recruiter there said. So one question is left to answer, and that is, how did it go? Most of the places that would be hiring the sort of people that I work with or that I can do the job for have actually been closed down during the holiday period. A number of them don't get back until the 10th. By the way, I'm recording this on the 6th, so a little while ago. But it's really hard to know whether or not it's going to make an impact just yet. However, I'm recording this now on the 6th, knowing full well it doesn't go out until the 14th, I think it is, which gives me a week to get feedback. So I guess all that's left to do is that weird sort of hand transition, and we go, let's skip to the good part. Well, 2 days in, I've sent out 5 job applications because there were only like 12 jobs listed in the fields I look into on Seek between last year and this year because everyone's been on holiday. But yeah, that many applications. So far I've had one person look at my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, but I'll give you another update tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. It's like 3 days in, and it's Sunday, so there's no jobs obviously going up. It's also the Sunday before everyone goes back to work, so tomorrow there should be lots more jobs. However, you do get bullshit things like this. This job ad, which was actually listed today, total scam, obvious scam of somebody who wants to take advantage of people. But you know what? You can't do much about it. People are going to put up jobs, and some idiot's going to fall for it, or no idiot's going to fall for it, and they're going to keep putting the ad up and just not understand why. It's not working. Well, let's see how tomorrow goes. Instead of doing daily updates, I just figured, screw it, I'll wait a couple of weeks and see what happens and then do an update so that I can finally get this video up and online. It's a long video. It's not supposed to be that long. It's so confusing. Anyway, it's now been 2 weeks since I last did an update. And in that time, I've had 2 email rejections. And that's it. No phone calls. No, do you want to do anything else? No emails. In fact, even jobs that I applied for last year, everyone's back at work now. Nah, not a thing. So whether or not changing my CV up has done anything, and I've been able to add stuff to that CV that I changed up, it just appears to have not really worked. Nice to know that those degrees that are up there really have come in handy in my career at this point. It makes me feel very, very special, and totally glad I got that huge student loan to cover those. Anyway, onwards and upwards. I will see you guys next time. Ka kite anō.